Yes, and welcome back to the Tottenham Concept. How is everybody? Listen, big up your damn selves for clicking on the video. You know I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And we are growing, baby, slightly. I'm not going to lie to you. I've just made this video once already, and I had my mic muted the entire time. So I went to upload it and realized, hold on a minute. So, yeah, I'm already irritated. Listen, today we're going to get straight into it. The game has just finished, Sydney versus Tottenham. It was a lot better of a watch than it had been previously. I think this is definitely out of three preseason games. This for me has been the best one. It was a lot more compelling. And I want to start on a positive note. I know, shock horror. Look, listen. With De Zerbi, you can genuinely see what he's doing. You get a sense of what he's trying to do. You know, I'm enjoying the way that he's preparing these players. You know, there is an emphasis on triangles, first touch football, player positioning, you know, braver passes in general. Like for me personally, right, and I don't know if you guys agree, I'd rather see players attempt those passes that unlock the lines and fail than recycling. I can't stand it. It's the modern game. It's very boring, and I think that's where, you know, the flair, the it's left football a bit. You know, it's sad to see, but like I said, what I'm seeing from De Zerbi's attempts to improve this Tottenham side are very, very, very impressive. You know, like I said, I enjoyed this game more so than the other two. You know, so that's a positive. But I do want to say, right, and a lot of this video, the video is titled Domination Without Firepower, which is very much the case. But I do think we're going to focus today on that front line or front four, however you want to see it. Look, listen, when you have a lack of talent up front, which is something we've seen it for the last 2 seasons now, or season, whatever you want to call it. When you've got that lack of talent up front, that lack of firepower, you're going to cause problems to yourself. If you don't take your chances, you're going to be banging trouble, right? And listen, Sydney, they did come on to us a bit. You know, it happened a bit in that first half. But, you know, look, aside from that, well, I want to go on to a few players. Matthews Tell. Listen, he divides opinion, and I'm at that point where I look at him and I think, is there a player there or is there not? You know, because right now, what Spurs have got in a lot of positions is maybe, nearly, possibly players. We don't want that no more. But with Tell, I mean, I'll say one thing: his set pieces are sublime. Forget the goal for a minute. I just mean in general, he can put the ball wherever he wants most of the time, and it's in a dangerous area. So he's good at that. But his on-field play, it leaves a lot to be desired. You know, I just want to see more from the guy. And he is our backup left winger. I mean, God, I hope we bring in someone else. But he is our backup left winger, whether you like it or not. And I'm just not sure whether he's the one for Spurs. I'm not. I mean, look, we'll move on to the goal. Give me a second. We'll move on to the goal. Wow. Top bin, screamer. That is the second fantastic goal we've scored this preseason. Truly, truly a beauty. You know, I don't want to take anything away from him there. You know, again, fantastic set pieces. He's really good. But it's the rest I worry about. You know, and talking of wingers, I want to speak about Solomon very quickly. Listen, we've got one. I said listen like 4 times already. Really got to think, yeah. Anyway, we've got one fit first team winger. Matthews Tell. I'm starting to think there may be an idea around the camp that maybe we keep Solomon. I mean, if I was to analyse Solomon, I would say he's not great in the final third. His decision-making is poor. His passing isn't outstanding. You know, he's great on the ball. He has his moments where I think, God damn, that was quite slick. But aside from that, like many others, you have to have more than that, especially in the final third. Like, none of our front three have a little thing I like to call composure. None of them. And I could say the same for a couple of the midfielders as well. Poor. Some of them have an excuse because they're young, fine. You know, but Solomon, what is he now, 26, 27? I'm just worried he is going to be one of our backup wingers, and there's going to be a significant drop in class from Kudus to someone like a Solomon. I know you could scream at Odebear at me, and that's fine. You can do that. But Odebear is nothing special. He's pretty much the same as Solomon, I would say. Maybe better on the ball, maybe. But final third, useless. Useless. Look, like I said, that first half, I said, look again. Wow, I'm gonna have like a list of banned words. That first half, it was interesting. We did dominate for the most part, and again, we saw a lot of what De Zerbi's trying to do. Great, but if you don't take your chances, that's where you're gonna have problems, and that showed a lot in the second half. We'll move on to that now. So the second half, the worst possible thing could have happened. They scored an early goal. I think it was like the 53rd, 54th minute, something like that. When that happens against a team who struggle going forward, at least finishing chances, because make no mistake, we made chances. You know, personally, I think in the first half, we should have been out of sight. Out of sight. We had 3 or 4 chances that quite possibly and probably should have been goals. So, like I'm saying, the problem here is when you've got a team like that, it's going to put pressure on your midfielders, on your centre backs, you know, your whole defensive line, because a team will figure out, hold on a minute, they can't put their chances away. Maybe we should start bypassing their attack because they're not really a threat, you know. And as I've said, it's gonna build more pressure, because I can promise you one thing: our midfielders and defenders probably don't trust our front line. They really don't. So you got to think, great, they've scored an early goal. I mean, and again, I know this is Sydney. I fully understand that, but for me, I'm thinking more ahead, like your Chelsea, the Premier League. You know, if we maintain this level of incompetent forwards, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, you know. And like I said, the pressure that would mount after an early goal being scored in the second, you're then stuck with, well, where are we going to go from? You know, you've got to think in a high pressure situation like the Premier League, that's going to happen. So as far as I'm concerned, we have to sign a winger, a striker, and you know what? Another backup winger. I don't think 2 players up front is going to be enough. We have to. You can't rely on a player like Kulu. No, wrong one. Kudus, similar names, excuse me. Simply because of his injury record. I mean, he got injured in January, guys. It's June. Yeah, January, sorry. We're now in July. So for me, I wouldn't trust that. I'd be very nervous. So you need a third. You have to get a third. Kulu's not going to be back anytime soon. And even if he does, what sort of state is he going to be in? He done his patella. You know, that's the same injury as R9, and he never came back the same player. And Kulu isn't even on the same planet as R9. So, you know, for me, it's concerning. But that second half, it was very interesting. Like I said, when you don't finish your chances, another team will capitalise on that. And to be fair, Sydney came out. It's pretty hard. It was a very competitive game in the second half. You know, look, the goal that was scored, Kota to Kai, Kota on the back of the door on your way out, son, to Kai. Get him out. Get him out. We all know why he was brought, and it certainly wasn't for his talent. It was financial based, right? 100%, at least in my opinion. It was an unfortunate error, but it was a fantastic assist. Fantastic assist. Yeah, shame you can do that at the other end for us. That would have been great. You know, it is what it is. It happens. You know, the game continued. We brought on a few more players. We got our first glimpse at Robinson. Now, I won't lie to you. It excited me when I see him come on. And you know what? His quality shone through. You know, he got a couple of fantastic crosses over. Fantastic. To the point where they were so good, had we had some sort of talent up front, they'd probably be goals. They'd probably be goals. You know when you're in trouble with your front line, right? When your 32-year-old left back bursts forward, making a fantastic run and shoots, and you've got more faith in him scoring a goal than your fucking strikers. That's all I'm going to say. It's not good. Tonali also came on. I mean, he won the ball back a few times. Again, I kind of feel like Tonali and Fernandes, the last two games, have been told to relax a bit. I'm not sure why, because they didn't have any international. They should be chomping at a bit to get cracking. And I know you've got to be careful pre-season, but come on now. Come on now. He wasn't anything spectacular. He let a few wayward. I mean, see, I'm going to contradict myself here because he did try to play the ball forward and it did mess up a few times. All right, I take that back. But look, with Tonali, he wasn't outstanding. Like I said, he won the ball back a few times, tried to make a few passes. They didn't really come off. But overall, you know, that second half was interesting. It was nice to see a bit of pressure. And I probably shouldn't say that. It was nice to see some pressure on Spurs, and there was plenty of it. But like I say, the story for me is if you can't finish your dinner, it's going to cause problems. That's exactly what happened today and most of last season. You're inviting that pressure, and in a higher stakes game, what are you going to do at the end of the day, right, guys? And pray with me here. If we don't bring someone in sooner rather than later, I mean, I don't know. What scares me is this market has gone batshit crazy, and players like Bradley Barcola are being quoted at 170 million. What's happening here, people? You know, so and maybe this is a reason why Spurs haven't acted already. Because, like we said in the last video, you know, you start as you mean to go on. We started, and it's all gone quiet. You know, and maybe that is because of this crazy transfer market. You know, Krupi shouldn't be 90 million. Come on, give me a break. Krupi's like between 40 and 60 at a push. My only concern is I'm not seeing us linked with any other strikers. That concerns me a hell of a lot. Personally, I'd go for a Pavlidis. I don't know if many of you are familiar with him. Check him out. Perfect for a Deserby team. Perfect. I'd take him all day long. I think he's a fantastic little player. I say little player. He's 27 now. So when he's coming into his prime, to me, it all adds up. You know, I'm sure the first 6 months might be a bit iffy. You're getting, used to a new team, a new country, blah, blah, blah. But listen, the guy is quality, pure quality. I'd snap him up personally. I think overall with the game, it was a good, compelling game. I enjoyed it for the most part, but I was pulling my hair out at our front line. We can't do this anymore, guys and girls. We can't. I'm going to lose brain cells watching Tottenham. We need new players to come in. And what I'm hearing a lot of, and I hear this on a lot of other channels, is, relax, calm down. We're going to make these signings. Are we? Where is this sudden faith of we're going to start signing players? Because listen, I've supported Spurs my whole life. In the last 25 years, if we've got anything to go off, the last 25 years, when it goes quiet, for me, that's panic stations. But it is what it is. Look, hopefully we make something happen because we really need to. And as I said, sooner rather than later, because we are deep into pre-season. And the Premier League ain't that far away. So, make something happen, guys, please. We've all got PTSD from how Spurs do their dealings. Maybe I should relax. Maybe I should calm down. But I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't nervous. All right. But yeah, look, like I said, overall, the game was a good game. I enjoyed it. But we know the problem here, guys. I am going to wrap up. Listen, the last video and the video previous to that, I've received overwhelming support, and I am massively grateful. So long may it continue. I will keep pumping out videos. The plan is, in the near future, as I said in the last video, I know it takes time to do these things. It's a lot harder doing your own channel, by the way. I'll say that. I'm making plans. I'm just trying to get them to happen. But you will catch me in the next one. That will probably be the Chelsea review. That will be a good one. So please stay tuned. I've got a terrible feeling that that's not going to go our way, like I'm sure many of you do. But like I said, thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe. Take care of yourselves. I'll catch you in the next one.